Welcome back to Reaper Pro Tips with me, your host, and Disembodied Hands, Quindy, Disembodied Beard, John, and Kiki is sulking in the other room. Oh, except I forgot again. I have to give her pills. I'm a dummy. I'm such a dummy. All right, hold on. Anybody that I seriously need to acknowledge? Any subs? No. All right, I have to go pop a pill into my dog. Hold on. Got to pill pop the dog. I will be right back. I should have done this right before the stream start. I'm so dumb. I have to give Kiki a pill because she hurt her back, and so she's on anti-inflammatories. Come here, Bubba. Bubba, we're going to get your pill. Come on, Bubba. Yeah, well, it's worth it. I want you. Here we go. Yeah. All right. Knock this up. Knock that up. Sorry about that, guys. I'm hoping to get her onto a schedule where I can give it to her when I give her morning food. But I have to slowly walk that back. Yep, yes, soft tissue injury. Yeah. We think it was maybe a frisbee catch. We're not sure. She didn't react at the time, Kerniko, which made it hard. But I took her into the vet, and they observed her, and they prodded her, and they extended her limbs, and their opinion was that it was not hips or anything. It was actually, she'd hurt her lower back. So no jumping, no running for the Keekster. Although she was totally a bad girl and jumped onto the bed this morning. So she's obviously feeling better, but soft tissue injuries can take weeks to heal. So we are going to be order a spray paint booth so you can do dragons. Oh my. That's a can of worms, Papa, isn't it? You just had a can of worms? What are you doing over there? Hi, are you being bad because you want attention? Yeah. That's a Shiloh specialty, isn't it? Yes, you're too smart for your own good. All right, we're getting down to it. A couple things I want to do today. Oh, she found her ball. She had pawed her ball into my stuff. Yeah, exactly. It's the best case scenario with soft tissue injury, so she should be okay. So yesterday, I showed you all how to mix the Bright Skin Triad. We're going to be remixing it today. I'm going to actually make those catch lights in his eyes a little bit bigger. I was thinking about it. Most cartoon animals have much bigger catch lights. So I thought I would make them maybe square, maybe triangular, and that I would make them a little bigger. So we're going to start by doing that just because I want to mess around with it, and if it doesn't work, we'll just repaint it. That's the fun thing about this, is like, you know, as long as you thin your paint, you can repaint these eyes as many times as you need to, because they're just so big and so flat. I ordered her a 3D printing resin yesterday. I'm excited. I'm gonna print a fairy dragon bust this weekend, Kerniko. And I'm gonna use lychee for the first time. Figure it out myself. I'll have to get David to... Of course, David is like sunk so deep in Diablo right now that he probably doesn't have any like brain cells left for thinking about stuff he might want me to print. Oh, nice, Richard. Well, cool. Welcome, welcome. Glad you're here early. But yeah, Fairy Dragon Bust, maybe Bronze Dragon Bust too. I haven't decided. I've got so many pretty minis that I haven't printed, but that I just like grabbed. So I'm ruminating. I was very disappointed in some ways. I went looking for a good Dryad bust, and there wasn't really one that I liked, and went looking for a good Druid bust even, and there wasn't really even one that I liked. I'm like, where are the people who are like doing these sculpts? Somebody has to sculpt this stuff because I want to paint it. It's very silly. I have not. I've actually kind of pissed at the media about that. I went looking because I went to look at the hurricane path for that. It went right over the top part of the Yucatan Peninsula in Mexico, but all our media wanted to talk about was Florida, Florida, Florida. I'm like, what about the Mexican people who got like totally nailed by this sucker? I had to like go real far out to even find a mention of it. Our news is so America focused. I'm like, sometimes I get annoyed because that was really a much nastier storm when it got close to Mexico. Not that it's not going to be nasty for Florida, but still. I don't know. I guess this is something that's known. It's just that our media is bad at global news. Yes. Yeah, that was at ReeferCon. Right. Julie's bust. Yep. Yeah, I don't know. Just sometimes I'm like I'm in the mood for a particular type of thing, and I'm just like not thrilled by the stuff I find. I'm gonna make these bigger. We'll make them round at first. Yeah, I think bigger is better. He's gonna get even cuter. Look out, guys! The Batling's gonna get cuter. The minute I make those catch lights even bigger, look at that. Sometimes you gotta mess around with this stuff. On little tiny models, you don't have any choice. But with chibis and with big models, making these catch lights, because the catch lights are what add life to the eyes, so if you make them bigger, you can get the cute. See, the bigger I make it, the cuter it gets. Aw, that's a bummer for Nico. 6 quarts of chicken curry will last you a long time. That's great. I love that. Like, I should really do batches like that, except that usually I'm hurrying to do something the day of. Probably I should be smarter on my weekends and do a huge batch of something and then, sock it away in the freezer. There we go. Even cuter. Now he looks like scared that you're going to take his candy corn instead of suspicious. See how much that changed the expression? Yeah, I have. I have been looking for a good female druid or dryad. I think I'm just going to have to, take a bust and convert it, like an existing bust, and just convert it into a dryad or a druid. That's how projects are born like that. And actually, David has a bust I might steal for it. He's like, are you going to take my candy corn? He looks scared now. Yeah, he looks like a poor little bat. Alrighty. I was thinking, guys. I was passing up an opportunity earlier. So I mentioned I wanted to use maybe blue-black for this, for the hands and for the wings. But what kind of color scheme do we have here? We have an orange-green color scheme, don't we? Yeah, we do. Pretty strongly, because remember, brown counts as orange. So except for the orangey pink, the coral, which is kind of off center of orange, we really have an orange green color scheme, and we've got some yellow in it. So obviously, the low hanging fruit here is to go purple, like Kraken ink, with the wings and the hands, because that will give us that. Not only will it give us still a purple black instead of a blue black for his little paws and his little wings, but it's complementary to our yellow. Do you guys see how that works? Hey there, Roger. You've stopped painting wood elves, Richard? Anne falls over in shock. All right, I like those little eyes. It makes him look like scared that you're going to take his candy corn. Now I'm going to put his little teeths. I think I want to put his little teeths in because they're a part of his expression, and we haven't paid any attention to his tiny teeths. It'll make him look even cuter. Quick, Richard, buy more. How many points? Do you even bother like actually putting an army together with that, Richard? Do you know how many points you have in the old Warhammer? Or do you not care? I'm just curious. I'm just curious if you're talking 10,000 points of wood elves here. I'm going to use driftwood for the start of his little teeths. It's going to actually look a lot like his muzzle, so at first they'll blend in, but then we'll highlight them up. Let's get closer to his little mouth. Yeah, I ordered some new resin for my 3D printer, so I'm like excited because it's the old red clay colored resin that Moonlight used to use. Even though it's more fragile for a dragon bust, I think it's going to be okay, especially a display dragon bust. I really, really love that resin. So we're going to bring his little teeths out. You have to have an army list. Why are you painting all these minis? But yeah, so if you've got big eyes or chibi eyes, experiment with different catch light positioning and size. It'll change the expression of your model. I had a patron request that I do something on cell shading, cell shaded paint jobs, like comic book style but extreme, right? So I think I'm going to do something for that, guys, but probably not. Probably it'll have to be in the $10 level. So we've got his two little fangs now. Oh, now he looks like... He gets cuter and cuter. Richard Bennett is responsible for the Great Wood Elf shortage. It's chaos over here. 8,000 points without magic items. You're going to have a 10,000 point Wood Elf army. Like, that's the legend, man. You're living the dream. The most mine ever was 3,500 points, I think. I think if I kitted it out with nasty magic items, that maybe it would have been closer to 4, but... So he's got little teeths here in his little mouth. Little teeth, look at the little teeth, look! So cute! Oh my god, so cute. So cute. So freaking cute. Jason has outdone himself. Oh, Michael, that's terrible. Alright, so now we're going to use Creamy Ivory. Might do some fur around the eyes. If I'm going to mix up these colors, I might also do some fur, but we'll see. I really do want to get the skin color parts done and the purple in today. So I'm gonna thin this, thin the creamy ivory just 4-to-1, 4 paint, 1 water, but normally I would thin it a little more, but I need those tiny teeth to show up, so I'm going to keep it a little thicker for the tiny, tiny teeths. And then we can thin it down a little bit. Because 4-to-1 is, base coat level, and it's not going to give me the effect I want on his teeth. It's too thick. Hey, did we just get a miniatures done raid for our cute little Batling? Hold on, everybody. Let's see. Oh, Luca, indeed. Indeed. The Paca people are here. Hi, guys. How's it going? We're painting cute Bat. He's very scared you're going to steal his candy corn. He's very, very scared. I'm putting his tiny teeth in right now. He's so adorable. A smaller version of this is in the Reaper Ghoulie bags that they're sending out with orders of $50 or more. I have the big one because at ReaperCon, Jason Weeby had it printed out bigger in front of him so that people could see it, and I asked him for it. I begged him for it. There we go. 2 tiny little teeths and then the bigger teeths. Now for the bigger teeths, hold on, there are other small teeths in between here. So I'm keeping my paint really thick for this part because for these very tiny little teeth, if I make the paint any thinner, it just won't show up. He's kind of snaggle-teethed. Okay, we've got some teeths there. Now though, for the big fangs, we have to make them a little bit thinner. Yeah, for Age of Sigmar, they split the faction into the like dryads and tree people. Yeah, just like Kerniko says. I always was kind of half on. Like I own the Tree Man. I own some of the stuff. I was a Wood Elf player in the long distant past, but I don't know. I like my old traditional Wood Elves that were kind of both. So I've pretty much gone away from if I were to play. I don't have an Age of Sigmar army, but now that Skaven are out, that might be what I would go for. Although I do like the Cow Elves. I do have several Cow Elves, so as you all know. Yeah. Yeah, I haven't gotten the Horned Prophet yet. I've got so much to paint, and I'm just so excited about the dragon busts I've been painting. Yeah. Too silly even for Warhammer. They're cow elves, let's face it. Like, there's cow everywhere in that army. Okay, that was still not thin enough. I can tell just looking at my brush, because my brush doesn't make a really, really sharp tip. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to thin it even further, and I'm going to swap down brush sizes to do the detailing on these teeth. So one more drop of water. Elves in Warhammer tend to always be silly, though. Like, it's rare to find elves that are not silly in some way. All right. That might be okay. So I need this paint thick enough. Thick enough that it'll still make details for me, but thin enough that it'll roll off the brush and be a little transparent so we get blended appearance. That's about right. It's a little more than 2-to-1 paint to water. Oop. Batling is back. Oh, I missed that question. Hold on. was way back. Neurotech, did you ask about the Julie Guthrie bust? Is that what I missed? Alright, let's get these little tiny teeths in. Little tiny teeths. Hold on, when I pick him up, he'll get in focus. Just situating myself. Here we go. Yeah, those were the Wayfinders, I think, or the Waywatchers. That's what they were. Those were the best sculpts with the leaf cloaks. Those were the best sculpts in the old Wood Elf army, as far as I was concerned. All right, so now we can start bringing this teeth out. They're very small, so we won't be able to do like the detail we'd be able to do on like dragon teeth or bigger teeth, but we can slowly begin bringing those fangs out. Oh, that's why I didn't see you in Neurotech. It's because your name is white, so you're invisible on my screen. Ah. Yeah, we're going to be painting that Sophie on stream, too. We just aren't there yet. I picked up a lot of models at ReaperCon to paint on stream, including some Pathfinder, which we, honestly, I don't know why I haven't grabbed Pathfinder up to now, except I was always kind of looking at new releases. But I love the Pathfinder models. And Derek does such a good job sculpting for them that it's astonishing. There we go. We've got some teeths. We've got some teeths. I think that's why Quindy said maybe a setting got changed, Crowley. If there, because she mentioned. I think that was in response to the fact that Reaper links aren't being posted. Yeah. Yeah, good luck on that one, Richard. The problem is that the Tolkien elves, I think, it's not a problem, but it's just the Tolkien elves are more historic fantasy, I would say, almost. They have that feel, because, you know, Tolkien. So I'm going to carry the teeth up just a little more into his mouth. And I feel like these days people want fantasy in their fantasy, if you know what I mean. Some people appreciate a good, realistic fantasy model, which is what I would call historic fantasy. Fantasy based on, you know, more on reality, less on magic. But I think the most popular fantasy is very magic. With, you know, Game of Thrones the exception, really, until you threw the dragons in and the, you know, zombies. Okay, there we got teeths. Yeah, that's the problem about Tom Myers. He sculpts super tiny. Because that's what his jam is. But his elves are the most close to what Richard probably wants. Because he likes to do that more realistic feel. Without the silly hats. Hey there, Laura. Alrighty, we've got tiny teeths. Look, tiny teeths. Tiny teeths. So cute. It would be even cooler if... there's no real way to make candy corn sticking to the bottom of his tooth. It wouldn't carry. People wouldn't realize what it was, but still, it would be kind of cool. Alright, so we need to do... we need to mix up our wing colors, and we also need to mix up purples for his paws and stuff. So let's get our... Again, the skin colors we're using are essentially equivalent to the Bright Skin Triad. It's easy to mix. It's so easy to mix these. These are been canceled for a while, but you just use existing reddish oranges to do it, plus a little bit of Assyrian sand. A little help from Assyrian sand. It's Kara, everybody. Kara, look! I'm so cute. So now we will mix. If you miss your Bright Skin Triad, if you love Bright Skin, and we're so sad that when it got canceled, this is how you mix it. I'm just gonna give all the secrets away on the stream. I might even do a little PDF about this in the future for the Patreon, just so y'all have it in print so that you can find it. But the first thing we're gonna do is to get some magma red, which is a very, very orange red, which means that when you add white to it, it's going to go coral colored. So we're going to add pure white to it. Hold on, let me scoop Batty out of the way so that I can show you these colors. There we go. Yes, cute, cute, cute. Very cute. Cute bat. Alright, so there's our magma red. It's very, very orange. There's a lot of, believe me, even though it doesn't look like it, there's a lot of yellow loaded into that color. It's just that the high density red pigment is so strong that it overpowers it. But you could just mix it. Like I'm showing you. I'm showing you the secret. This is the secret sauce. So we got one, and then we need, maybe it's a little bit too orange and red, so it's a nice coral color though. That's a nice coral color. So we need just a little bit. Well, actually, you know what? I bet that's good. It's close. It's really close. Maybe a little bit more white will take it a little bit closer. Yeah, I guess I got it a little bit closer yesterday, so we'll add another drop of white. That'll help with coverage as well. Way more work, but you get like two awesome things. You get the paints that you had to buy to mix it, which you might not have otherwise had, so then you have more utility. And you can just mix as much as you want instead of having bottles of bright skin that you only use every once in a millennium, slowly going bad in your closet. But you know, whatever your groove. Yeah, I don't know about Ron's house. Ron's office is where it's at, Kara. I'm pretty sure that Adrian like keeps most of the nerdery out of the house. Although, you know, they're down to like one kid, and they do have a pretty big house. So it's possible that Ron has taken over parts of the house. He does have an extensive comic book collection, I'll tell you that. Alright, so volcanic orange is our next color. But yeah, the office is far cooler, though. I mean, comic books, who cares? Somebody takes aim at Anne for that. It was never my groove, though. Except when I was collecting, like, Sandman. Back in college days. Okay, we're going to put a couple of drops of white just straight up into this. Oh, I got a little out of frame. There we go. So that's our volcanic orange, which is a very reddish orange. So it's going to give us kind of a peach color. Oh, I put too much orange in it. I'm going to regret that. All right, we're going to have to take drastic steps. We're going to have to take some of this paint and scoop it out. I went way too far with my orange. I should have put only a couple drops down and I didn't. So, having removed some of that orange now with my brush to another part of the palette, we will put more white in. Kodiak, it comes down to exactly the crap that I talked about yesterday. Nobody's got time to do that. Like, if we had time to do that, we'd have time to, like, write up all sorts of awesome content about our paint line and how to use it. And so many things would be prioritized ahead of doing stuff like this. This is why, like I said, this is why I do it for the Patreon, guys. This is why. Because, like, Reaper would have to pay me a full-time job again to get me to write all this stuff for Reaper because it would just take that long. Like, my Patreon is my full-time job. And it's the only place I've ever been able to, like, put all the information about the paint line. Like, it's simply that Reaper does not have enough people. And it's more that the person that's most qualified to do it is me, and I didn't have enough time. There we go. There's our bright skin. It's a very orangey skin tone, very cartoon. But yeah, like, that's why I do this stuff for the Patreon. That's why I do this stuff on stream, so that people who do watch get the secrets. But, it's just, it's practicalities. Like, yes, will we like all the information about everything? Yes, we would. Can we? Not really realistically. So I've got these mixed now, so I'm going to swatch them and make sure I'm on target with the ones I did yesterday. So I'm going to just add a little bit up there and let it dry. Yes. Thank you for the Time Bandits reference. That one never goes out of style. My favorite part of that movie, I swear, is when he says, "Don't touch it, it's pure evil," to his parents at the end, and they blow up. Because that's people for you. And we'll put a little bit there. It looks like we're pretty on target, though. And the Ferris Bueller. Yeah, you gotta. That's right. Reaper's tiny, and a lot of the people there don't have the expertise to write about the paint line. Right. Yeah, and then it is what it is. I mean, but whenever people are like, "Well, I wish we had this," it's like the only person who can do that is yours truly, who doesn't work for Reaper anymore except for the stream, which is why you're getting the information in the stream. Yeah, so it's just practicalities. Would it be great to have all that stuff? Yes, abso-freaking-lutely it would have been great. But it is what it is. But since the Bright Skin Triad is never going to come back, because it was just a very obscure triad and a lot of people just didn't get it, that's why I feel no compunction about showing you guys how to mix it. So now we're going to take a little bit of that Bright Skin, and we're going to add a couple drops of Osirian Sand. You specifically want Osirian Sand for this. Osirian Sand is our yellowest off-white. It's Pathfinder color. It also has a little bit of muting. It's not just yellow, right? It's obviously kind of a yellow cream or yellow ivory color, so it has a little bit of brown in it, which means that it'll go just a little bit off of a brightish yellow, which is what you want because Bright Skin Highlight was just that little bit off. You want a little muted. So we're going to mix that in. We have a little bit too much of too much peachy stuff in here. So I'm going to take some of it out. When you're mixing colors and you find that you're off, and you're trying to mix more white into a color and make it lighter, but you already have a big puddle of paint, just remove some of that paint and make sure that you're just working with a small amount. It'll make it much easier to match stuff and you won't have to waste as much paint. Oh, Time Bandits is a classic, Quindy. Do see it. Still holds up, I think. Yes, because 1.5 people are, yes, sometimes basis. It's toys, you guys. Yes. Right, Kara. Exactly. Yeah. Oh, dear Mac. That's not just getting old. That's just getting, sedentary. It's just that we don't actually try. If you don't move it, you actually do lose it as you get older. Your strength and endurance will deteriorate at a greater level as you get older. So yes, it is getting old, but if you do a bit of work, you won't have to worry about it. It's the fact that we all would much rather paint minis than do the work that screws us. All right, so again, too much peach. Oh, Baron Munchausen. It's not quite as good as Baron... And I say this just because Baron Munchausen is the quintessential fairy tale movie that I adore. It is. It is. In fact, if you read my books, you might notice that death, the shadow of death, has a large resemblance. It definitely borrows things from the Baron Munchausen death. So... that's just for you guys. That's a tidbit just for you guys of my writerly brain fusion. But yeah, Time Bandits is also good. It's if you love the fairy tale feel of Munchausen. It's not that. It's darker and it's more like almost like, I don't know, it's hard to even like genreify it because it's a time travel adventure. Except it's a tongue-in-cheek time travel adventure, but with darkness. Like it's good. It's good. Yeah, so you might actually like it. I would say it's darker than Munchausen in some ways. Munchausen always has that kind of fairy tale, the hero is going to get out of this somehow kind of feel. But you may like the darker parts of Time Bandits. So I'd give it a go. Like, it's an 80s movie, so remember special effects were limited back then, but yeah, see, this is the hardest one. All right, it might be close now. It might be close. Might need a tiny bit more orange. Boop. Tiny bit more orange. The synthesis here that you want, yeah, that's good. I think that's good. Yeah, no, Munchausen is just highly enjoyable, like fairy tale. It's and fairy tale in like the purest, like the very like not old dark fairy tale. Like we're all, I think, okay, these days fairy tale has dark connotations because a lot of artists and writers and movie makers have gone there, right? They've all dragged the fact that fairy tales used to be very dark indeed back into the public consciousness. Munchausen is more like what fairy tales were in like the 60s and 50s, before the darkness got dragged back out of the past. It's more of a pure heroism thing, a pure heroic adventure, which I love. I mean, look at what I write. Yeah, it's batty. Oh no. Oh no. The Matrix is old now. I remember seeing it in the movie theater. Just tell them that they shouldn't watch the sequels. Alright, so now we're going to swatch this one, and we're going to see what we got. That's probably just a little bit dark, but you know what? I'm going to run with it. It's close enough. So there we have it. We have our Bright Skin Try It. And we have mixed it. It's a lovely movie. Anyway, Time Bandits is a lovely movie. You should watch it, Quindy. I think you'd get a kick out of it. When I was younger, it was honestly one of my favorite 80s movies. And it probably still is. I just haven't watched it for so long. Alrighty, we finally have our stuff, so we're going to continue highlighting and shading our winglets. And then when we're done with that, we're going to do the paws and the wing struts. I just want to finish these membranes before we do those struts. So we're painting from the inside out with that, right? So we're painting the recessed areas first, and then we can do the outside strut areas. So we're using the shadow for the start. Just trimming up that color in there. All right. All right. So as I mentioned, there's lots of ways we could try to blend this. But in this case, with such a cartoony subject, I'm going a little less on my blending. I'm just going to sketch in your the wing membranes here. So I was thinking about it. I mentioned earlier on the stream that one of my patrons asked for something on cell shading, comic book style that's, that's kind of block shaded. You guys know what cell shading looks like, right? And I was like, oh, I'll look into doing that. Because apparently some of the new Cool Minis Marvel characters, they actually, most of them aren't painted with that. It's just the NMN ones, because that's how you do NMM in cell shading. Or NMM in that style, in comic book style, right? But it occurred to me that people, like, when you try to explain how to do cell shading, people get super frustrated. Like, I can foresee people getting super frustrated because in order to do cell shading, you think it makes it easier, right? If you look at it, you're like, oh, that's going to be much easier and faster. This is true if you have a very good concept of light and how it falls and where it cuts off and where your light source is, right? How many mini painters have that? Crickets. But how many average mini painters in America have that? Because in Europe, I still feel they definitely teach their people light better than we do. So that's the problem that I foresee. I haven't talked to this guy about it yet, but it's like, you do realize that, because he was like thinking that X or Y might be too much work, and I was like thinking to myself after I was like reading about it and looking at examples to refresh my memory and thinking about how I would teach it, I was thinking, man, you guy, you don't know work. like cell shading is going to be work. Yes, right. Yeah, you can get away with a lot with 2D cell shading that you can't get away with within 3D. Right, yeah. Right, and you can't do really, really good cell shading without that knowledge of light. That's the kicker. That is the kicker. Yeah, yep. Yep. Yeah, and if you do cell shading and you have weaknesses in your light, it will show, right? That's just it. That's right. That's just it, Kara. You've got it. Is that if it's going to expose you, right? It's going to expose how little you know or that you don't have a good grasp on. And I think that's what this patron doesn't know. Like, it looks easy. When it's done by, a master, it looks really easy. But yeah, Kara, I agree with you 100%. So I'm going to do a PDF on it. I actually am, I was kind of playing with it on my Adventure Cat that I was painting with the Cuttlefish paints. I was working on cell shading a bit. Already before this person asked for it, but since they asked for it, I'm actually going to do a harder analysis. The other problem with cell shading is that it really depends on the artist as far as like the amount of like contrast in some of the cell shading and stuff. Like how high you take your contrast is just a function of you as an artist a lot of the time. It varies. Oh, your glasses blur. But you know what? Impression is fine. I mean, nowadays nobody seems to like smooth blending. It seems to be the child that no one loves, and it makes me kind of sad because it's so much work to do. And when you do it, when you nail it, it's very impressive. It gives you just that wonderful, funky, clean look that I enjoy. And it's a shame that people are hating on it so bad because it's like it takes a lot of Like, it takes a lot of work to do it, right? To carry that off, it's a lot of work. It's not easy. So to have a lot of people, like, just hate on it, just because it was a dominant style back in, like, the freaking late 90s, early 2000s, like, don't hate on it, man. It's just another technique. Oh, Hot Fuzz is good. Yeah, thinning. Yeah, thinning the paint without licking the paint, yes. Although, you know, you can... Never mind, I'm not going to say that. Anne's brain cuts in to censor her. I would be lying if I didn't say that, if I said I hadn't ever used saliva as a blending aid. I would be a liar. But I don't anymore. So we're just going to get the lighter color in there. You've cut the licky by... Oh, good. That's good. Yeah, it's a hard habit to break. I just started... the way that I... Because I used to be a brush licker, too, before Sue. What happened to Sue. And I trained myself not to. And what I ended up doing is just, if I needed saliva, I would just, like, lick my thumb instead of licking the brush. And I would roll the brush on there. Like, and that, and then I was able to transition to not brush licking or anything at all. Now I just, like, I don't do it at all. Like, it's 100% gone. Which is good. Oh, sorry, off camera. There we go. So we're just essentially getting that blend right there. Yeah, good. Yeah, if you've got somebody standing there like going, no! That works too. No, that's not bad cop. That's good cop, Michael. Because you care about people and you're trying to keep them from getting, like, sick. I think that's good cop. There we go. All right. And again, we're just like getting the guys in there. Great. I just want to reinforce the other side a little bit because I was doing it so fast yesterday, and it helps if you're trying to do a blend. It helps if you slow down. Too much cat spit. Yuck. Ew. That's as bad as Kiki licking her butt and then wanting to kiss David or I on the face. We're just like, no butt licker. This is a no butt licking zone. Because dogs are gross. Whenever David is like, ah, I'm like, dogs are gross. Brush licking is you rinse out your brush, for most people. You rinse out your brush and then you lick it to give it a better point. But some people maybe don't use the paint water step as much as they should, which is really, really bad for you. Not good for your health. Don't do it. Non-toxic does not mean food grade, and ingesting resins is never a recipe for good health. Period. I mean, I've gotten a lot stronger in speaking out against brush licking as I get older. Uh-oh. Kiki, how about no? Kiki, enough. Come here. Come here. No. All right. Exiling. Enough. Come here. Yeah, shake it off. Be quiet. Come here. I said come here, Keeks. You. Nope. Exiled. Gone. Shut up. Nope. I told you to be quiet and you didn't. I told you to come here and you didn't. Bye. Yep. Barkies, get the exile. I pay an additional 2 mana to exile this creature. Yes, exactly. The creature needs to listen. When I call her over, if I call her and she comes over, I pet her, and then she's like, oh, okay, everything's good. But if she refuses to come over and get her pet, and it's because she's sure there are axe murderers. Mostly it's just an attention grab at that point, I think. So I just exile her. Yep, exiled. So I like to make the wing membranes, on everything I do with bat wings, I like to make the membranes lighter toward the edges. Because when the wing stretches out, that's when the membrane gets thinner, so more light should pass through it. So it looks natural to us to have that membrane get lighter as it goes toward the edge of a stretched wing. And now she's a sad Kiki because she's been exiled. She can't sit and watch me. But she'll deal. Alright, we got that done. Looks okay. Looks okay. We get this side of the ear, and then we'll mix up some purples and get to doing the paws. Yeah, use a different type of cup for your paint water is the best thing to do. And make sure that you watch your positioning when you're painting in a new place, or you take it, if you go over to a friend's house to paint or whatever, or you rearrange your area. Always keep your paint water in the same place and never put your drink water on that side of the table. That's just the way that you can avoid doing it. Every one of us has at some point. I've never drunk my paint water, but I have dipped my brush in my drink, which has always made me sad because then I have to throw out the drink. Yeah, keep your everything away from the paint water cup. Yeah. I always do it on the opposite side. My paint water is always on my right side, and my drink is always on my left. Yeah, the problem with that is that coffee stains is a staining agent, Gary. Coffee and tea. So it wouldn't work. It wouldn't work as a glaze. I know you're kidding. Alright, I think we're pretty good. Just a little bit more highlight on the ear over there. But using the Bright Skin Triad for this is it works really well because this character is so very cartoony. And that's really what the Bright Skin Triad is mimicking, is cartoon skin tones, which tend to be much more vibrant and saturated, so they tend to be more orange and pink. Alright, so now we've got cute ears, we've got very cute ears and a cute face, and now we need to add purple. So I'm going to grab Kraken ink. You could use, I don't think I'd use Nightmare, although you could use Nightmare, but I'd mix it. I'd mix Nightmare half and half with Imperial if you were going to do that, because you want something that's not quite so black. Nightmare is really black. So we're going to start with Kraken ink. Kraken ink is a very, very dark purple. But when you add water, you can really see that it is a pretty intense dark purple. So I think it's going to give us a good result. Because we want to, the thing about it is when you put Nightshade Purple down, it'll look black. You won't be able to see the purple. And I feel like Kraken Ink, which is part of the Surf and Turf, High Seas Horror set, Surf and Turf set, you can see the purple. It's just that little bit lighter and more intense. All right. Whee. David is happily playing Diablo last night. His character is already like level 40. It's ridiculous. He's like, maybe I'll start a second character. I'm like, you always start a second character. Sometimes you start a third character. I'm just giving him crap. I'm not playing right now because I have other things I want to work on. Alright, oh, maybe a little bit more. I don't want to use too much Kraken Ink. Although I did get like 2 extra bottles one year at ReaperCon just because I was like, I need more Kraken Ink. And that was before they decided they were letting... Did they? Okay, I never remember if they've actually canceled the fast palettes or not. Are still in production, you think? Okay. Well, good. Surf and Turf then, everybody. Although it's the other one. The Gloom and Grave is the one I think is the most useful. High Seas Horror, though, has a couple of key colors in it that are very, very, very cool. Oh, good. Surf and Turf is. But is Gloom and Grave? So those are the two. So we will highlight this too, of course, but I'm going to start by just painting on, and you can see the purple, so it's just going to be subtle. Yeah. See, Gloom and Grave was like the most of all of them, except for maybe obviously the Dungeon Dwellers, specifically the one with all of the monster skin tones. Which one is that one? That one is the Dungeon Monster Colors. That is a very useful set as well. But Gloom and Grave, I feel, was like the most... Gloom and Grave is gone. The bestest fast palette. It just figures. But you can still get Kraken Ink, so you should be happy about that. You just can't ever get in Death Knight Black ever again. You know what, though, Kernico? Since they're never going to bring it back, take blue liner, add some magenta. Probably because Death Knight Black, if you like the very, very thin consistency of Death Knight Black, it's very see-through, then I would also add a drop of Brush On Sealer. If you just like the color and you don't care if it has a little bit better coverage, then blue liner plus a drop of clear magenta. Like 4-to-1, I want to say, maybe. I don't know. I'd have to experiment, but that's what you do. Yeah, I mean, it's really just a black indigo, right? It's a little bit more blue than purple, so then I would watch the amount of clear magenta. I would maybe add a little tiny bit at a time till you can dial it in. But yeah, you can make it yourself. I have just like with this wow, that's really intense. I might actually have to mute that a bit. Because that might be, everything on here is muted and that's too candy-like. All right, we're going to mute it. How do we mute it? We can add some yellow to it. Yes, we're going to do the crazy kink chemistry where you add complementary colors. Sorry, everybody. I know. Yeah, technically we could probably add that to the ReaperCon thing, but the problem is that we can't get it to Kuro, and Kuro wants it because she has to pay taxes on everything, including gifts mailed from friends, which just sucks. But yes, we could ask Trash to add Death Knight to the order for ReaperCon. All right, I'm going to put 1 drop of Lantern Yellow in here, folks. 1. It's we're going to see how much it shifts it. I have a little bit of purple, a little bit of the Kraken ink there. There we are. All right, that really, really graded out. I'm going to have to add a little more Kraken ink. So I should have added. I was thinking it wouldn't do that much to it, but it's definitely grayed that out. So now it's very weird. It's a very weird purple. Yeah, it's much more of a gray purple now. So I want a little bit more purple. Put 2 drops back in. That should help. And then we'll see how we go. Yes, that's why we're muting it, Twisted Oma, correct? Except I've gone too far with the yellow. Gonna have to make a new thing. So again, when you find yourself mixing up a big batch, but you are having a hard time fighting away from a color you accidentally added too much of, just take it to a new well, cut your losses, and just work with it there. Richard. This is why they're going to stick you with jamming again, you know. Because you go above and beyond. Yeah, that's the color I wanted. Just a little bit of a muted. Like Kraken ink, but just a little bit less bright. That's right, right there. So adding yellow is the right call, but not adding as much yellow as I did. Hello, Jamie. Yeah, we're mixing purples to get a decent purple for Batling's wing color because the original purple I wanted to use actually turned out too saturated. So I mixed a little yellow into it, and we're going to try again because this is just too bright. Everything else on Batling is a bit muted, so. Yeah, be louder about the Death Knight Black. Like, make sure he adds it right at the beginning and then yell a lot and tell people this color is awesome and it's never coming back unless we get it made now, please. Yeah, Changeling is White Wolf again. We've been talking about White Wolf a lot lately. I never played Changeling. I thought that it suffered from a very hard to work interface between reality and the magical world. I felt like they could have handled it a little better or differently. It was a great concept. But I just felt like it just wasn't quite there. Like they were getting close, and some GMs obviously made it work. So let's try to put this over here and see if we've gone muted enough. That's better. Not as bright. Just need to wait for that to dry. It still looks a little bright because we put it over that brighter purple, but we'll be able to dull it down. And then there's a little claw on top of that wing I think that I need to keep. I probably need to paint it with the claw colors, with the teeth colors. We'll be highlighting these, of course, but I want to start dark with them because I want them to stand out. And often I will make the inside and outside of wings different colors, but I decided not to on this one. Kraken ink plus a tiny bit of lantern yellow, Roger. Kraken ink turned out to be too bright for the Batling. So I added a little bit of the complementary color into Mute It. That even still looks a little bit bright. I have to wait for it to dry, and then I'll put some of the kind of messed up purple over the top of it. So putting the purple in completes a orange, green, purple triadic color scheme, since we're obviously working with the green and orange color scheme before this. So it was an easy choice. It also is a complementary color to the yellow that we used on the jack-o'-lantern eyes and mouth. So that makes it an even easier choice, because you know it will work then. I have a dentist appointment today. Woe is me. Though it's not woeful as it once was. I used to really fear the dentist, and now I'm just like, meh. Of course, I also take pretty good care of my teeth these days, so there's rarely anything to worry about. I'm too imaginative to watch scary things. It always gets worse in my head. Kuro, it's going to be a while for that werewolf paladin romance. I realized that I was trying to cut corners and that I needed to think about it a lot more. So I put it on the I am thinking about this platform, and instead I'm doing some writing on something else. I just didn't know enough. As I write more books, I learn my process better. So it'll be a little bit longer. It'll be a little bit longer. I'm working on it, but I'm working on it up here instead of down here. Yeah, it'll get done, but probably won't know enough about it in time, because I want it to be really good, obviously, because I want everything I do to be very good. So yeah, I need to just think about the characters a little bit more and have a few more. The longer I think about it, like the more scenes pop into my head, the more I get a gist of the story, the more I understand the characters and what they're after, other than the immediate. So we're making his little paws purple. Little pause. There we go. Little pause. Yeah, I think the purple's the right purple now. And it'll still mute out a little bit because we'll be adding some white to it or some skin tone to it to make it highlight. Probably some skin tone since we already have them mixed up. And we don't want them to be really bright purple, so highlighting with skin tone will give us more of a muted purple. And we already have good skin tones for that task. Alright, so let's test that. Okay, so let's take that with a little bit of our bright skin shadow. And I think that's going to be it. I think that's a pretty good color. So that gives us kind of a more of a taupe, kind of bruisey purple. I do feel like I need to mix up a little bit more of my purple. There we go. I can bring more of that over here then and drop more of this in. Yeah, I never got desensitized to scary stuff. I didn't watch enough of it. And I'm kind of happy with that. I'm okay with that. I don't like gore either, or torture or anything like that, so my movie rules are pretty defined at this point. You never correct people when they call you that, Shadow Raven. Come on. Let them believe you're innocent until you do something shocking and then giggle at their response. Oh, hey, I wanted to tell you guys, actually, for dark fairy tale people who like to read, it's interesting. I'm reading a very interesting book right now. It's essentially a reworking of Anne of Green Gables if the person that Anne went to live with was actually a witch, and if Anne was actually a budding witch herself. And we're talking wicked witch. Like, we're talking dark. But I'm really enjoying it. And the book's title is The Grace of Wild Things. So that, The Grace of Wild Things. And the book cover, I don't think, where am I? I'm on 23. The book cover looks like that. The Grace of Wild Things. It is, I wasn't a huge Anne of Green Gables fan, But the idea of her, like, actually being a witch and apprenticing to a truly wicked witch, like the Wicked Witch in the Woods, like, kind of thing, was too cool. And the writing is really good. The writing is really, really good, guys. It's very Anne of Green Gables. Like, you can tell that the character is a reimagined Anne of Green Gables. She's very, very whimsical and very, like, very full, full of drama sometimes, but... The Grace of Wild Things, Bryce. Anne of Green Gables reimagined as a darker fantasy novel about a witchy Anne who goes to live with a wicked witch in the woods. It's and the witch the witch tries to eat her, of course, because it's the witch from Hansel and Gretel, or similar, and then when she fails to eat her because Grace proves that she's a witch, and witches apparently can't eat each other. Essentially, she's ready to throw her out and like just make her go back to the orphanage, which is just heartbreaking because she's already unwanted. And so they make a deal where if Grace can can cast every spell in her starting grimoire, which is like 100 more spells, by the next spring, by the time the cherry tree blossoms, then she'll take her on as her apprentice. But if she fails, she'll eat her magic. And and for those who like crows, Grace has a crow friend / familiar. And there's a lot, this is just really cool. Yeah. Yeah, I'm enjoying it quite a bit. It has dark parts in it. And it's very interesting. It's very fairy tale, it has very fairy tale vibe every once in a while. That really comes through in like that dark old fairy tale kind of way. The opposite of Baron Munchausen, as we were discussing earlier. So that's a good highlight color that further mutes the purple. So I'm going to keep working that. I think Anne of Green Gables just went into the public domain, and so I think that's why we're going to start seeing more riffs on it. Just like there's a bunch of riffs on like Pride and Prejudice and all that kind of thing. But this is a good one. Yep, thanks, Crowley. Have a good day. My birds are pissed at me right now because I didn't go refill their food this morning and that needs it. Oh my gosh. I finally saw a squirrel almost get at my squirrel feeder. It was the only squirrel who has not been busted by the squirrel buster, although it mostly was. It was actually, I think the California ground squirrel that I love so much had babies, or was, parent to babies. Because it was a younger one, because it was smaller. California ground squirrels are so pretty. And I love mine. And so I'm so happy that there's another one. But I think I scared him out of a year's growth, him or her. Because there's a cactus, a spiky cactus that's like kind of like a little distance away from the bird feeder kitty corner, and it's probably within 18 inches. They always say that you got to keep the bird feeder 18 inches away from anything else that a squirrel could use to jump to it. But he got the rim of it, and then he swung up and he was trying to squeeze himself up, like between, the ring that the birds stand on and the feeder. He was trying to squeeze himself up between the ring and the feeder. And he had a paw hooked over one of the little openings. And because he wasn't sitting on the ring, the opening stayed just a little open. but he was trying to squeeze himself up like between there. And that was pretty much like when I stepped in, I was like, oh, you poor thing, but I'm going to scare the bejeebus out of you now. And so I opened the door. Like, just the screen door was up and the glass door had been open. I opened the glass door, and he's like, eyes get huge, and he's like, it was like a cartoon. He's like, trying to squeeze himself out so that he could pop out the top and run away. Oh, that poor little guy. I hope he comes back someday but I may have scared him too badly. He almost got trapped. So my squirrel-proof feeder has worked perfectly. Not a single squirrel has managed until the California ground squirrel youngster managed to figure out, hey, I could jump from the cactus. So then I moved the bird feeder further over on the tree limbs so that it wouldn't be closer to the cactus. But it was hilarious. It honestly was that cartoon character moment where he was like halfway stuck in and out between the ring and the feeder, and he was just like taking his little paws and like pressing down to squish his big butt up as fast as he could to get out of there. So funny. So funny. Yeah, that's normally a big nope to movie directors. Killing animals, killing the dog or the cat is like a big nope. That's why Jonesy survives an Alien. And why they didn't like bring Jonesy back into danger with aliens. It's because movie makers know that killing the animal, killing the dog or the cat, is a sure recipe for box office tank. It's like very reliable metric. Nobody wants to see the dog or the cat get killed. He got through, Bryce. He squeezed his big free butt out and like fell out, got down on the ground and hightailed it, literally. Well, low-tailed it because he's a ground squirrel. But I love the California ground squirrels because they have such cool sabling on their fur. Oh, no, Luca? All right. Yeah, I wondered about that. Poor Luca. Maybe he caught con crud. I can sympathize, since I had con crud. Wow. Golden Demon con crud. Poor Luca. Well, then we can finish painting this lighter purple on here. Oh, speaking of squirrels. Oh. It's funny, a mama squirrel with her youngster came to the bird feeder yesterday. And she was smart, and she was just like nosing around for the stuff the birds tossed out. They tend to toss actually pretty big nuts because my birds are smaller. There are some like full sunflower seeds and big chunks of peanut in there, so they do toss out like the stuff that's too big. Even my favorite chickadee, I was like, and you, chickadee? Because he used to be really good about like not being fussy, but now he's gotten all spoiled and fussy. And he just if the nut's too big for him, he'll just like toss it on the ground. And we wonder why we have baby rats and squirrels. But yeah, the young squirrel, she definitely she was like, hey, is there stuff up there? But she couldn't quite figure it out. The ground squirrel was smarter. Yeah, everybody's got Old Yeller childhood trauma and no other filmmaker would touch it. I'm sure there are filmmakers who do, but they aren't the wildly popular movies. Like, it is poison. Because the minute word gets out that the animal dies, you lose, like, a big chunk of moviegoers. They just won't even. I wouldn't. We'll get off the interstate if there's a log truck. Yeah. Yeah, if we were watching a second home and a pet dies, yeah. Yeah, see, okay, so where the red fern grows is different, right? That has death in it, but the dogs actually live to old age. And it is sad because eventually, they die, but it's a natural death. It's not bad. Like, it's still sad because it's sad when you lose it, to see them get old, but at least you're not killing it's not like the bad kid takes an axe and offs little Anne, right? Gosh, I shouldn't even have said that. So it's different when you've got sad in the movie because eventually the pets pass, but if it's not, you just don't want violent death. You don't want the bad guy to kill the pet. Like that's the cutoff for most people. They just don't want to even. They'll know about. I'll know about if there's even a pet that's if there's a catastrophe and a pet is struggling or about to die. I'll know about that too. Yeah, it's hard not to cry with Where the Red Fern Grows. It was still one of my favorite books. I read it over and over and over when I was a kid. I'm a rereader. All the creative ways to die. Yeah, let's not. Talk about movies I have absolutely zero interest in watching. And I'm just doing some black with lining here just to make sure that the paws have good definition. We will do another highlight on these next time. Yeah, multiple movies I've never heard of, Claw. Yeah. I still would be. I still be a no, Kuro. I'd still be a no. Yeah, they had to do it off screen, because otherwise it would have nobody would watch that movie no matter how good it is. Okay, so we've got a first set of highlights, and I'm probably going to glaze to make sure we keep that dark, since right now it's our dark color on the model. But we at least we made progress today. His eyes got cuter, and his little teeth got painted, and his skin tones got finished up, and we highlighted the first layer on his purple. So we need to get the candy corn in there next, I think. Yeah, actually, I don't have a good lunch. But yeah, and we need to get his little nose down. I think it's going to be black. Actually, I should paint that the purple really quick. We're still going to keep a highlight on top of it, but it'll be purple. We'll keep a little white space so that it looks shiny. Little highlight. There we go. Let's bring that back in. Okay, there we go. So now he's got his little nose. Yay! Yep. Yeah, I'll just put a little dash of highlight up there. There we go. Yes, have a lovely one, everybody. We'll call it there. Tomorrow, let's work on the candy corn, getting that purple finished. Then maybe we'll work on some fur. He's coming right along. He's moving right along. We'll get a lot done this week, I think. Yeah, you guys have a great day. Thanks, everybody. And we'll be back tomorrow. We'll work on our Batling until we're done with our Batling. I guess, if I had to guess, I think we might actually finish Batling. If I had to look at the month, I could see Batling being done by, like, around 18th, 22nd. We'll probably finish him before the end of the month. So I may have to look for something else, too. Or we'll just go back to rotation. Or maybe we'll commit to Big Sophie and finally work on her. Like, because I'm getting to the point where I want to get Big Sophie off our plate, guys. So if we finish battling early before Halloween, we may switch over and do a bunch of Sophie for like a week to get her finished. That's kind of my plan. Yes, thanks much. Thanks, Gary. You're welcome, all. All right, we'll just call it that. That's my plan, and I'm sticking to it. Quindy, thank you, as always, for being our wonderful mod, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye.